Govs Radio. This is where you go if you want to see something or if you want to hear something funny. Coming up in just a couple of minutes. This is a joke I told. What? I'm not on Gov Radio? Call the police. Call my agent.
The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. So call Two Eagles Auto Body and ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show.
Behind the bag, it gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Hello, Tony. Mookie Wilson here, 1986 Mets. How you doing? Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, at Knockem Dead Comedy Radio, man. I miss you. I wish I was still up there, man. But I'll wait till it warm up a little bit, and hopefully this year things will be a little bit better, man. But when we're talking about comedy, hey, the early years of Mets was a lot to laugh about. You had to make a lot of comedy with those guys. Hey, hope to see you guys during the summer, and hopefully get back on the show, man, at some point in time during the course of the year, all right? All right? Yeah, fine. Contact me, man. All right, Tony. Talk to you later.
3-2 to Mookie Wilson. Little roller up along first. Behind the bag.
Hi. Sorry about that. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Knockem Day Comedy Show. Coming at you live from the legendary Governor's Comedy Club on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. It's Tuesday Trivia. We're going to have some fun today, I hope. And I say I hope because you are stuck with just me, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Kaplan was supposed to be our guest. He canceled on me about an hour ago. Maybe a little, hour and a half, maybe. Hello, John. Yeah, I'm sorry, John. Your buddy canceled out on me. You know, he's a big shot out there in Suffolk County. He's running for office. You know, he's got to kiss the babies. He's got to bribe influential people. You know, he's got stuff to do out there. He said something about some congressional people were meeting with him this morning, and he didn't know about it, or he didn't know it was going to be so many people. I don't know, something. I don't listen to him. So Mike Kaplan, he did say, if anything, he may be late. I don't think he's showing up. Yes, John. John says, that dog. You can do better than that, John. You come up with bigger names. So no Mike Kaplan today. However, we'll still be nice to him. Go support his fundraiser out at McGuire's. It's actually that way. Out at McGuire's Thursday night, September 21st. Fat Jay is headlining that show. It's going to be a great show. I unfortunately will not be there. I will be in Philadelphia. I know Mike wanted me to host that show, and I would have loved to. But can't get there. So, yeah, but go support. It's a good cause, and go vote for Mike. He's a good boy, except when he cancels on the show. So that's the deal there. Govs.com to make your reservations for that show. It's going to be great. Even if you don't vote for Mike, it'll still be a great night. Great night of comedy. Govs.com. That is where you'll see. That show, that fundraiser. If you don't go to the fundraiser, well, then come here to Governor's. Go to the Giggle Room, because that is where our pal Brandon will be with the Broken Mic. That's this Thursday. I don't know who's on his panel this time. But it's always a great show, Brandon Lacaruba's Broken Mic. So check that out Thursday. And then this weekend at on Governor's stages, you might see Danny Lo Priori, or you might see Goomba Johnny, or you might see Dave Smith, or Eagle Witt, or Billy Geyer, or Joe Winchell, or Tommy Gooch, Howard Showtime Moore, Dino, Gerard, Big Mel, Kenny Wood, Teddy Smith, Shauna Ray, Tim Saliani, Mike Tanzi, or Greg Pfeiffer. Help me out. Who is Shauna Ray? She's not a comedian, right? Isn't she like a reality TV star or something? Fill me in on who she is. So bear with me today. I've talked about it several times on this show. The thing that makes me the most uncomfortable with doing the show is when I have to do it by myself. I don't want to say I hate it, because I don't, but I'm not a big fan of it either. I feel I'm at my best when I have somebody to bounce off of. I was hoping Chris Thomas was coming in, but I have not been in touch with her. I probably should have reached out to her. She was here last Tuesday, and I was hoping that was the beginning of her being like our Tuesday person. We've had some good Tuesday people. Jay and Dan LaRocco, Hugh Murray, Mike O'Sullivan. I wish Mike O'Sullivan had more time to be here, because I feel like we were just getting in a groove with him. But Chris, I think, would be great too. I have so much fun with Chris, and she's so much prettier than those other guys that I mentioned. I love Chris. So I don't know, but she's not here either. So so I'm very uncomfortable when I do the show by myself. So I appreciate you guys, all the support and all the kind words that I've received when I do have to do it by myself. And I do admit, I'm going to admit to you flat out, because this is our last show of the week. We're not going to be on the rest of the week. And I do admit, I need the break. I mean, I know I just took a few days off last month, but I don't know, man. I just feel like I'm constantly running around doing something. So yeah, I need a break, and I might take some days off next week, as well. As I mentioned to you guys, I have the call-in jury duty, and I don't know if every state has this. I'm assuming they do, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the phone-in where the night before you have to call in to see if they want you to report for jury duty the next day. So, so it's been hard to plan this show when I don't know if I'm going to be here, So, and believe me, the last thing I want to do is do the show by myself all next week. So, and I think Brandon said he might jump in for a few days, but I don't know. That hasn't been set in stone, so I don't know. I will tell you, I am taking a chance on Monday. Because who was in here telling? Was it Chris Thomas? She was saying that Monday is Yom Kippur. So she thinks that they're not going to have me come in Monday. She thinks like they're hardly going to be doing anything Monday. So they're not going to have the jurors come in. So I have planned a guest for Monday. He's an up-and-coming comedian named Sean Kearns. He's played the club a few times. Looking forward to speaking to him because I know his parents. So, and I've heard some good things about him from the comedians here. So I have not seen him myself. So, but I did tell Sean Kearns, we do the show, we schedule the show. I said, but just know, I may have to cancel on you last minute in case I have to go to jury duty. So if we don't get him on Monday, we'll reschedule him because I really like to get him in here. But yeah, we're going to take the chance and see what happens. So let's see. John Rusiello, at least you don't need to disinfect the place now that Kaplan is not showing. Kaplan's not really my biggest worry when it comes to that, Mike Keegan. No, I'm kidding. Mike O'Sullivan Comedy. Mike just lost my vote. Andrew Fremder. Well, you could have called the last minute Fremder if you really don't want people to watch. All right, Fremder, I might, because I that is a concern of mine, because we do get quite a lot of cancellations in here, and I feel bad. I don't like calling people last minute. Like, all right, now that I don't have anybody, would you like to come in? I don't like doing that. That's cheap, and just not right. So I don't like doing that. But if you want to be the last minute guy, that means you'll be here in here quite often. But I'll do that. I have a good time with you when you come in. I probably could have called my brother as well, but I honestly didn't even think of it until after I got here. So we're going to take a chance. So as of now, the show is happening Monday. So, but yeah, and I am very excited about my trip. It's weird. I'm excited about my trip this week, but I'm not at the same time. I'm going to Philadelphia. I'm leaving Thursday morning. I'm going to meet up with my pal Elio Pace, his lovely Amy Rhiannonworth, my buddy Carl Wooden, who lives in Philadelphia. We're getting together during the day. We got some work to do. We're going to be Elio's going to be premiering his new concert film at Penn State. They're having a film festival. So we got some work to do. We got to go to the theater early and make sure everything's working, making sure everything is copacetic. I've done some work with Elio in the past. I'm kind of like one of his stage managers, I guess. Back in 2016, I traveled over to Scotland where he was performing at a big-time charity gig with all these professional golfers, and people like Andy Garcia were there, and Huey Lewis was there, and the drummer from Bon Jovi, and Mike Rutherford, who some of you know is the guitarist from Genesis or Mike and the Mechanics. Yeah, we did some work for Elio there, and it was actually very funny. They were having sound issues. The guy who was running the sound, not that I'm an expert at that stuff, but this guy really didn't appear like he knew what he was doing. And so I was just kind of like Elio's stage manager, just taking care of whatever he needed while the band was doing their sound check and rehearsing, going over what the set list is going to look like and stuff. But then at one point, Huey Lewis actually came over to me and said, all right, keep an eye on the sound guy. tell him what you need. Tell him what he's got to do. Tell him what's got to be fixed. I'm like, okay. But then, and I'm doing it, and he seemed to be cool with me. But at one point, towards the end of the sound check, he came walking over, and he just ripped this sound guy a new one, man. Huey Lewis, he was a super nice guy. I mean, just cool, nice, spent time with everybody, and treated everybody like an equal. It wasn't like, this is my show. Like, he treated everybody like an equal. Absolutely loves Elio and his band. I had a long conversation with him about how he loved Elio and his band. But he's also a professional. He did, like, nice guy, super guy, and I can identify with this because I'm the same way. You respect everybody and the jobs that they're doing, but there's a job to be done. So he was a great guy, but he was making sure things were, in place. And, even a couple times he would call like a meeting for everybody. He was just totally in charge. He was cool, in charge, but not a dick about it. Not above everybody else. He was just great. But he had enough with this sound guy towards the end of sound check. So the sound guy is standing, in this booth, kind of like this here. I'm standing maybe 2-3 feet away. And Huey comes over. So it's just Huey, the sound guy, and me. And Huey just ripped into this guy. And he even would look at me a couple times and be like, right? Like he was looking for backup. So I did. I'm standing. So it's me and Huey Lewis going against the sound guy. It was so surreal. Like in my head, I'm like, holy shit, I'm watching Huey Lewis yell at somebody. And the guy, a couple times like, okay, yeah. And Huey even said to him, look, I don't want to hear you yes. Don't yes me. Just get the freaking job done. Yeah, he really, it was really kind of weird. But, yeah, so I enjoy working with Elio. Elio and Amy worked with me. We did a murder mystery. When was that? Back in May. They were in town, and they were in town for only 2 days. Basically, they were flying back to England from Brazil. They were doing some performances down there, and the cruise they were performing on had them fly in to New York as their stopover, boom, and then back to England. So they just said, to the company, hey, look, since you're flying us to New York, we're going to stay at New York for 2 days. If that's okay, can we just, push the flight back? And they took care of it. They said, no problem. And it just happened to be one of those days that they stayed, just happened to be on a day that we were doing a murder mystery. And I actually needed somebody. I needed a female. And Amy fit the role perfectly. I needed, a good-looking female to play like a floozy type part. And Amy just, holy shit, did she knock it out of the park. Wow, man. And she had to sing Copacabana, and she just killed it. And then we had Elio sing at the end of the show. He was doing the sound during the show for me. And then we had him sing at the end. I mean, it was just, I just, he's my closest friend, and we have a lot of fun working together. So, so we have some work to do Thursday afternoon. We go to the theater at Penn State late Thursday, like 4 o'clock-ish. We got to make sure everything works good. Then we have the film showing that night, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of friends that are coming, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And then Friday morning, we come back. We go to New York City. We're going to get some lunch, and then we're having a private screening of his concert film with some more friends in the city, which I believe is, I think at like 4 o'clock, I think. Yeah, 4 o'clock. So, and then back home I come Friday night, and then I start at White Post Farms this weekend, I host their fall festival. I do that for the next 6 weeks, although I'm hearing something about rain this weekend. No rain, no festival. So, yeah, but it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to the break. It's going to be fun to see some friends and enjoy the film, hang out with my buddy Elio. My buddy Rob, who watches the show sometimes, who just moved to the Philadelphia area a year or so ago. Turns out he lives near Penn State, so he's coming to see the film. So I'm excited because I haven't seen him probably like 6 months. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be good. So yeah, so it's going to be a fun few days. Oh, so I was saying, I talk about it all the time. When you're a performer, whether it's a musician, comedy, whatever it is, it's you love working, of course, and you love doing what you do, whether it's singing, acting, whatever. And I do. I can't get enough of doing the murder mysteries. I have such a great time. However, a downside is that everybody, all performers, Fridays and Saturdays, those are the prime days to perform, obviously, weekends. So you're working, so you don't get to see your buddies and what they do. I can't tell you, it's almost every weekend. I'm like, oh, this guy's playing here. I would love to go see that. And it just doesn't happen, because you're performing too. So that's kind of like a downside. So the same thing as this weekend. I'm thrilled to go hang out with Elio for 2 days and enjoy seeing the film. Oh, which, by the way, ElioPace.com. ElioPace.com. You can order a DVD of the film or stream it, download it, whatever. That's the only place you can get it, though. It's ElioPace.com. But yeah, downside is, for this weekend, Thursday night, like I told you, Mike Kaplan wanted me to host his fundraiser at McGuire's, which I would have loved to have done. Friday night, a film that my son worked on, they're having a screening out east somewhere in Suffolk County, a film that he worked on, which I would love to go to. So that's a downside. You wish you could be in two places at once. So, but all the best to Mike and Jay and whoever's performing at that fundraiser. Hope it's a great show. Mike, I hope it's a big turnout for you. And all the best to my son on his screening for a film that he worked on Friday. I'm going to have a good time. Really looking forward to it. Jeff Bosey is watching. He says, good morning. And he says, they were amazing to work with. Oh, he's talking about Elio and Amy. Yeah. Yeah, because Jeff was in that murder mystery. Let me tell you, when we did our murder mystery here the other night, I got here early to set up. Nobody, just the wait staff is, preparing. And I can't tell you how many of the wait staff were like, Bosey's in the show tonight, right? Yeah. Is that show where he's wearing the dress? Yeah. And they're like, oh, this is going to be great. And then even as the comedians were starting to, slowly trickle in, oh, yeah, you got that murder mystery tonight, right? Bosey, right? Yep. And then we use this room as our dressing room. So I'm standing outside the sliding doors. So many comedians, oh, is this the one with Bosey? Oh, you're doing a murder mystery? Oh, Bosey. I forget who it was. One comedian even came down and said, oh, I heard, somebody was telling me I got to come down here and see what Bosey's wearing. Jeff was in the dress and the makeup. So, Jeff's like, I think he's the most popular guy in this place. If you want the real news, listen to Huey Lewis. Guess it was a good thing we didn't ask Fremder to come in. And then even next week, like I said, we're going to do the show Monday if I don't have to go to jury duty. And I don't know, maybe I'll do Tuesday trivia. But then I don't know, maybe I'll take the rest of the week off again. Because again, I don't want to do this show that much by myself next week. And it gives me a chance to, just catch up on things. Because, I record, I engineer all the shows in here with Mark Riccadon and Richie Byrne. I edit their show after they record it. You got to say, this coming Monday, they have Dan Lauria. Dan Lauria is an actor. You would definitely recognize him if I showed you his face. For those of you who were around in the 80s and I think the 90s, he was Fred Savage's father on The Wonder Years. He's the guest this weekend, this coming Monday on Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. But little behind-the-scenes background info, I did not record that show. That's an interview they did with him a while back that they never released. And the audio and the video just did not. This video was a little bit of a mess. So it took me hours. I am not, like Don Sill edits for a living. I don't. I don't do anything good. I am a complete novice when it comes to editing stuff. This thing took me hours. The whole interview, I think, is about an hour, maybe a little over. This thing took me hours because it was such a mess. So, but it's a really great interview. If you like old time TV, movie stars and music, like Dan Lauria, like he hung out with Sinatra and he hung out with Dean Martin, hung out with Joe Mantegna. Charles Durning, and he had some great stories about these guys. He also has some interesting stuff to talk about when it comes to just acting as a craft. Really great interview, really interesting conversation. If you like if you like those kind of things, so I highly recommend it. I highly recommend the episode that came out yesterday. Rob Bartlett, comedy legend, and Rob Bartlett just pokes fun at these guys constantly throughout the episode. It's really funny. It's really funny. Bosie, the only place where I'm popular is amongst performers and staff at Governors. I'm going to disagree with you, Jeff. You're always a hit in our shows. Except when you talk about your tampon. Jeff, I don't know, he made some ad lib the other night at the show about his tampon. I'm teasing. If you're going to make jokes like that, Governors is the place to do it. Jules is watching. I stayed at his apartment in Manhattan. Who? Fred Savage? Dan Lauria? Do you know Dan Lauria, Jules? Jules puzzles me. She sits here and talks about how she has no friends and no life. But then you like you mentioned, like, you talk about the Mets. Oh, I was a Mets dancer back in 1992. Or you mentioned some famous band. Oh, I saw that band. I hung out with them after the show. Or you mentioned an actor, and she's like, oh, yeah, I stayed at his apartment. Like, Jules has had quite the life. And I bet we don't even know the half of it. I bet there were all sorts of sex and drugs and rock and roll going on. She's a wild one, that Jules, riding her motorcycle. Uh-oh, it's a friend to comment. I prefer method acting when it comes to me having to memorize a role. I just take a deep breath and say to myself, nobody likes me. My goodness, Fremder. Go to therapy. All right. So we're going to get to some Tuesday trivia, probably around 12. I'm very excited. I'm very relieved, I should say, about my trip to Philly because I got a new car 2 weeks ago. A GMC Terrain, 2017. And so I've been driving this thing. It's a nice car, nice truck. But I didn't get my left foot pedals. I've been driving with, moving the left foot over just to reach the pedal. So the way it works, if you don't have a right leg, like me, what they do is they make there's this contraption where they put the gas pedal on the left side of the brake, and there's a bar that runs along the floor, and it comes up and it has like a thing. So when I hit the pedal, the bar will like pushes down on the real gas pedal. So that's, and of course I obviously need one. So instead of going from brake to pedal, right to left, I'm going left to right. Gas pedal on the other side, just and you may think that may be unnatural or confusing. It's not. When you don't have a right leg, I got used to it really within minutes. Really, it was nothing. But I haven't had it on this new car, so it's at my car. I had to drop it off yesterday, and I just got the call just shortly before we went on the air that it's going to be ready. I was nervous. I would have to drive all the way down to Philly with my legs stretched across. But the car is ready. I'm picking up at 2 o'clock, so I'm very relieved driving down to Philly comfortably. So that'll be cool. So so we're gonna get to Tuesday trivia probably around 12. Let's see what we got going on. So, Mike, what do you think? What do you think would be the fallout if you got caught in an auditorium fondling a woman's breasts like Lauren Boebert? Mm-hmm. Right. Mike Kaplan was supposed to be here. I'm just being stupid. That was one of the things I had planned to question him on as a guy who's running for a public office. That was crazy. I still can't get over that story. I mean, what are you thinking? You know, you're a public, you're an elected official who's up for re-election. What are you thinking? Jerking the guy off right there in the middle of a theater where there's kids in the theater. All right. But now, and speaking of, did you hear about this? Where is it? Did you hear about this TV reporter? It was an IUD. What's an IUD? I'm going to look that up. It's a tool. Oh, what? Birth control? What? I don't know what Jeff's talking about. Okay, so did you guys hear about this woman, this TV reporter in Spain? So, police in Spain arrested a man on suspicion of sexual assault after he appeared to touch a TV journalist on the bottom as she was reporting live from the streets of Madrid. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this. I saw the video. So, TV reporter on a street. I don't know what she was reporting about, but because the video I saw didn't have the audio. No, I take that back. It had audio, but they were speaking their native tongue. So I had no idea what they were saying. So she's standing there holding the mic. She's doing her thing. And you see this guy, you know, just like any time a reporter's on a street, you know, people are walking past, you know, it's just, you know, the way it is. And she's talking, here comes this guy. I think he was on her left. Here he comes, and as he comes up, you know, right next to her, he just does a quick on her ass. And he keeps going. You know, he keeps walking. Now, the news anchor back in the studio, he interrupts. He's like, whoa, hey. He's like, hey, miss, I don't know, what's her name? I have it here somewhere. Issa, I-S-A. Issa Balado. So the news anchor goes, Issa, hang on a second, Issa. He goes, did that idiot, some articles I read said he called the guy an idiot. Some articles I read said he said stupid guy. Did that stupid guy just touch you? And she's like, yeah. And he goes, well, is he still there? Sure enough, he was still kind of lingering, so she called him back in. And the news anchor kind of blasted him, rightfully so. And then she chimes in and she starts, you know, saying, hey, I'm trying to do my job here. You're just touching my ass. He's smiling. He's being a dick about it. Blows her off. Then he rubs the top of her head and walks away. I couldn't believe this. What a dick. But there's a happy ending to this story, and I know what you guys are thinking when I say that. The happy ending to the story is that the cops came and arrested the guy, and he's being charged with sexual assault, as he should be. This was all live on TV. The man can be seen approaching her, then appearing to touch her bottom as she's talking. Yeah, do you really need to touch my bum? She asked. Do you really need to touch my bum? And he said, oh, bloody hell, I damn well straight get me a cup of tea and I touch a bum. I'd like you to let me work, she said. Yeah, and then he touched her on the head and walked away. Later, the Bellado said it was very unpleasant, particularly when you're working. Yeah. So after he walked away, after he patted her on the head and walked away, he was still hanging around. She went to him again. Oh, and then... Oh, no, I take that back. He came back. Again, and that's when she got freaked out, and she said, all right, we need to cut this broadcast. So they did. They cut the feed, and then the man was arrested. Oh, okay, but then the man wasn't even held for 24 hours. He was released by the court. The judge did not impose any precautionary measures as she did not believe there was any continued risk to the victim. Although there is still an investigating continuing and criminal proceedings will continue. But, yeah, there is a little bit of an outlash. People are not happy that this guy was kind of just like, all right, you can go until we figure out what to do. Yeah, I mean, here, if it was here, I'd like to think he'd be thrown in jail for a while, maybe $200,000 bond or something, something. And I do hope they get it. They give him some kind of punishment. What kind of pig just walks up? I mean, I'm all for, being silly, especially during a live broadcast and make a face or something. Years ago, I think it was 2015, I think. A bunch of us were tailgating at the Nassau Coliseum, which is not too far from here. Billy Joel was performing there, and there were a bunch of us tailgating. I mean, there was a lot of us, probably like 20 or 30 of us. And the Channel 7 Eyewitness News came over to do a report, and we were being so stupid in the background. And at one point, me and my buddy Rob Notaro, who's been in here a few times, me and him started square dancing in the background. We were doing all sorts of stupid stuff. But that's what I mean, like being stupid in the back. Who cares? We're just goofing around. This, what kind of pig just goes up and grabs? I don't know. I just think it's very offensive and very stupid, especially in this day and age. Just grab a woman on camera, no less. And then just be so smug about it. Like, oh, you're a good little girl. I'll pat you on the head like a little puppy. Dick. Mike O'Sullivan. She's a hands-on politician. Maybe she was securing a vote. I mean, I'd vote for her if she took me out and did that. I don't know. Great Spanish accent. Well, she said bum. I didn't realize they said bum in Spanish. I don't know. I just assumed that's an English thing. I didn't know other languages used bum for slang for butt. Heiny. Ass. Bosie. I would have loved to call in, but once again, the phone say naysay to Bosie. Fremder, sounds like a different happy ending than what he wanted. All right, Bosie, I'm going to call in right now myself and see if it works. I don't know what in the world could be the problem here. Let's see. All right. 516. Whoops, hang on. 516-465-3990. Sons of bitches. Never a dull moment in this place, I tell you. I don't know why the phone's not working. I don't know. See, this is why I need a break. We've been having Zoom issues. Now the phone's not working. Let me see what we got going on here. This goes to that. Yeah, everything's where it should be. That's what she said. All right. Well, I don't want to mess with it too much now on the air. 1, because I'm on the air. 2, that's boring. 3, with my luck, I would start messing with the phone and then I'd lose you guys. Like I'd lose this feed or something. So that's that story. That's a crazy story. And speaking of dicks, you guys Russell Brand fans? I never really got him. I mean, there have been things, like some of his lines that were funny, and there some things that he has said that I agree with. But for the most part, I think the guy is weird. Most of his stand-up act really never did it for me. Not knocking his acting. I mean, a lot of people love him. I mean, that's why he's, big and famous. But I never really understood it. I never got the hair. His movies really aren't. I didn't feel were that good. Remaking Arthur was just stupid. Yeah, I don't know. So I wasn't really a big fan of the guy, but now he's under some attack. Russell Brand's public persona has always been outrageous, controversial, and sexually explicit. But now he's been accused of rape, sexual assault, and emotional abuse. The allegations come from a number of women, but one of whom says Brand started a sexual relationship with her when she was 16 years old, and it spanned 7 years. Former colleagues say his inappropriate behavior on and off the air went unchallenged. He denies the allegations, and many of him and some of his people believe his alternative views mean there is a conspiracy to bring him down. I don't know what that means. His alternative views? I would love to know what those views are, Russell Brand. You're banging a 16-year-old? Go to jail, son of a bitch. Assuming he did it. Now, I'll be honest. When the things with Cosby first started to, flow into the ether, I didn't believe it. But then, you hear the stories, and it just became so many women. You're like, there's no way you get that amount of women to come forward like that without somebody saying, yeah, this is a plan. Somebody's going to blow the lid on that. When you have that many people saying that it's going to be, if there's that many people say it's, that it's going on, well, it's hard to dispute that. Same now with Russell Brand. If we're talking, what did it say, several women? We're talking 3. I don't know if we're talking 28. I have no idea. But, I don't know. But when it's a lot of people like that, when it's, you got to think it's got to be true. Otherwise, somewhere, somehow it would come out. So-and-so concocted this plan to get all these people. So, just like, what was it, just last week? A week or so ago when they threw Danny Masterson in jail for 30 years. I mean, there must have been some solid proof that he did rape these girls. So screw you, Danny Masterson. You go rot in jail for 30 years, you prick bastard, son of a bitch. Fuck. So, yeah. All right. Let me see. All right, I got a couple things here before we get to trivia. Tuesday trivia coming your way soon. So some good news. Here's some good news. Elon Musk has indicated that X, which, we all know is Twitter. I don't know why he changed it to X. But Elon Musk has indicated that X, formerly known as Twitter, is preparing to charge all users for accessing the platform. And I say that is fantastic news. The ex-owner said erecting a paywall around the business would ward off the bots or automated accounts that have become a bugbear for Musk. A bugbear. Not a nuisance, not a pain, but a bugbear. Hopefully. All right, so this is why I think it's good news. People are going to be like, up yours, Elon Musk. I'm not paying for the damn thing. So then maybe it'll shut down and we'll have one less stupid social media platform that we have to worry about. Now, I don't have issues with social media. I mean, I love Facebook. I don't like the political shit. I don't like when people are fighting. I don't like the trolls. But Facebook reconnected me with so many friends, from other times in my life that I lost touch with. I've become friends with people on Facebook who, before I met them in person. I discovered Elio Pace on Facebook. Somebody, I don't know if it was him or somebody else, posted a link of a YouTube link of him singing the Billy Joel song Honesty. I don't know why, but I did. I clicked on it, I watched it, I was like, oh, this guy's pretty good. I watched a few more videos of him, and then I just reached out to him on Facebook. Hi, my name is Tony. I'm over here in America. Just thought I'd tell you I enjoy your work. And it just went from there. So I do. I love Facebook. To me, I like. To me, it's almost like a virtual bedroom. Like I'm picturing a teenager in their bedroom with like their posters and all the fun stuff and their TV and their record player. Because you can go on Facebook and you can post, pictures of your favorite bands, pictures of your favorite teams, a link to see a music video, a link to see a highlights to a sports game. You can talk about the weather. You can all watch a game. You can all be home and watch a game and go on Facebook and interact with each other. Oh, did you see Aaron Rodgers just now? Holy shit, I can't believe it. To me, that's what Facebook is, and that's why I enjoy it. I just ignore the bullshit. But what I don't like about social media is just, all the different places. Like, why does there have to be so many different places? Like, I don't understand the point of Instagram and Facebook. Like, why do we need both? And then you add in Twitter or X, whatever you call it, and TikTok. Well, TikTok, I guess, is different because it's just the videos, but I don't know. I just don't get it. And not to mention, all these freaking jerk-offs, where that's become the news. So-and-so tweeted this, that, and the other thing. Like, who gives a shit? Just tell us what's going on. Tell us about the fire. Tell us about who died. Tell us about the charity event. Tell us about, what happened in sports today. Tell us the weather. Like, who gives a shit what somebody tweeted today? And then next thing you know, I'm offended by that. Shut up. Shut up. And that's what I hate about social media. So I hope Elon Musk charges us to use Twitter. We'll all say, okay, well, we're not paying for that. Bye-bye, Elon. Bye-bye, Elon. Babylon. Bye-bye. And then we just walk away from it, and it shuts down because nobody pays. That's what I'm hoping. Let me read some comments. Fremder, looks like all those years of working for a phone company paid off. I was not a repairman. I was a lineman. A lineman is, a real man. We planted our poles, our heavy wood. We planted our heavy wood in the mud, in the dirt. I was a lineman. I put poles in. I hung cables, but I didn't do actual hookups. I didn't, put all the wires together. One department hangs the wires. The other department comes in right behind us and hooks it all up. I didn't go into people's houses and fix phones. That was, they actually, once in a blue moon, they would send us to do that, and I was lost. Unless it was something really simple, I was lost. One time I had to go to a business. They sent me to a restaurant because their credit card machine wasn't working. And I'm dreading going on this job because, again, I didn't know much about fixing phones. It was not what I was trained to do. I knew really just the bare minimum. So I'm dreading it. I'm driving in the truck, driving to this thing. I'm like, this is going to suck because I guarantee I'm not going to know what I'm doing. So I get there and I go, I talk to the people that tell me what's going on. And this restaurant's packed. So the restaurant's like freaking out. They need a credit card machine to work. I mean, this is probably, this is like 25 years ago. So, back then it was, swiping the card and all, just the machine. So I'm looking, I'm like, all right, I don't know, but I'm pretending, all right, yeah, okay, yeah. I'm like, all right, let me go look at your telephone closet. Let me see if everything's hooked up in there. Let me go outside and make sure that. Meanwhile, I'm just stalling because I have absolutely no clue what's going on. And sure enough, I'm getting nervous. I'm like, what am I going to do? Am I going to tell this guy I have to leave because, I don't know? And I'm walking around. So now I go back to where the credit card machine is just because, again, I'm wasting time just trying to make it look like I know what I'm doing. So I grab it. I grab the credit card machine, and I'm kind of just looking. I'm looking at other things. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at other things, but I'm holding it. But all of a sudden, it hits me as I'm holding it. It's like, so, I didn't even like turn back to look at it. I'm just feeling the machine like this. Like I realized that there's no wire. So now and sure enough, I look down. There's the wire. The phone cords in the house with that little square thing that it clicks in. Sure enough, it's just laying right there. So I grab it, I click it, it goes in. Sure enough, all the lights are coming on, all the things. I'm like, and I was a hero to these people in this restaurant. And then, and then I got out of there so fast, just in case, something broke again, or in case the wire came loose and fell out. Like, I just got out of there so fast. So Fremder, I wasn't really trained in that. Fremder, definitely a lot of lid blowing going on. Facebook is a virtual game of Guess Who. Yeah? A virtual game of Guess Who. Expand on that. Explain yourself. Bosie, well, when I sit in my social living room, it's a totally different experience. Well, yeah, because we're talking about your social living room is porn, not Facebook. Although I take that back. I bet you're staring at Andy Plagianos and having a different experience. Fremder, Instagram is a great delivery service. Rusiello agrees with what? Instagram being a great delivery service? Fremder, I like to tweet on people's Facebooks. Yeah. All right, we're going to get to trivia in about 10 minutes. For those of you in this area, like Bosie lives not too far from here. Fremder's out east. For those of you, I'll say Long Island. For those of you on Long Island, come to White Post Farms this weekend if it doesn't rain, and come hang out and enjoy the great food, enjoy the shows. Grab your pumpkins for Halloween. But whatever you do, do not head south. Do not go down to Jones Beach. This weekend, the inaugural Northwell Health Ironman competition is a record setter. Jones Beach State Park hosts the global competition on Saturday. This is the largest registration for the Ironman 70.3 triathlon event, with at least 3,800 athletes representing countries from across the globe. So you're talking almost 4,000 athletes are going to be competing down there at Jones Beach. That's crowded enough. And that's just the athletes. So you're not talking about the people that are going to come watch. You're not talking about the TV crews. You're not talking about the Jones Beach State Park people. There's going to be thousands of people down there. And it's the record. This is the most people they've ever had register for the Ironman. It shatters the mark by more than 1,500. Discover Long Island estimates the competition will stimulate the Long Island economy with an excess of $13 million. So that's fantastic. If you want to go down there to see the triathlon, fine, go down there for that. If you want to go hang out at the beach, or you want to take a ride, only go down there if you're going for the triathlon, and go early and be prepared to walk and give yourself time to find parking, because it's going to be crazy down there. But 13 million coming into our island is, that's fantastic. So I'm not complaining about this thing. I'm just trying to warn you guys to be careful. If I had two legs and could walk better and had time on my hands, I would actually love to go check this out. I really would. Check this out. Participants will navigate Zacks Bay with a 1.2 mile swim, followed by a picturesque 56-mile closed bike course along the length of the Wantor Parkway. The Wantor Parkway doesn't go 56 miles. The Wantor Parkway is a parkway that goes right into Jones Beach. But if you take it, so that's where it starts. And it goes all the way up pretty close to the North Shore of Long Island, but and it takes you to what's called the Northern State Parkway, which, if you're going east, takes you out to Suffolk County. If you go west, takes you right to the Grand Central Parkway, right into Queens, New York City. So I don't know. I'm trying to think, they go up and down. Would that be 56 miles? Because it probably is. It might be around 20 miles. The whole parkway. 20, 25 miles. So, yeah, maybe just, up and then back, maybe. So that, too. Stay off the Wanto Parkway this weekend. It's going to be nutty, man. But, again, so they're up and down the Wanto Parkway. Then the final leg of the triathlon. So you're swimming 1.5 miles. You're biking for 56 miles. Then a 13.1 mile run along Jones Beach Boardwalk. So we're talking 14. We're talking about 70 miles total between swimming, running, and biking for a total of, did I say 60? 70. Yeah, a little over 70 miles. That's insanity. Holy crap. I'm sure it's going to be on TV. But, so I'm sure my guess is that the Wanto Parkway is closed. Jones Beach is just going to be nuts, man. Oh, John's agreeing with my comments. Oh, cool. Thanks, John. Andrew Frumdar, heard the beach had a good taco stand under the boardwalk. Holy shit. Bosie, oh my God, the most hilarious thing, comma, or period, I was in a gas station there. This 6'3" big guy, but now imagine him with my whiny voice playing Talia. What? What? I have no idea. Can I get 30 on pump 5? I have no idea what Jeff's talking about. What did I miss? You guys fill me in. So that's this weekend. The inaugural Northwell Health Ironman competition down there at Jones Beach. That's on Saturday. All right. All right. Two more things. Sorry. All right, a couple more things, and we'll get to Tuesday trivia. I haven't seen Plagano's commenting, and I haven't seen Vicky either. So, basically, only have 3 people commenting, although it shows more than that are watching. But my guess is that Tuesday trivia will go pretty fast. So I'm just going to do a couple other things, or should I do? You know what? I'll do trivia now before I lose the 3 that are commenting. I'll do trivia now, and then I have some other stories after. So, here we go. Tuesday trivia. The way this works, ladies and gentlemen, lots of Speedos on the beach, so nuts would be the right word. The way Tuesday trivia works, I'm going to ask some random trivia questions. You guys are going to answer them in the comment thread. I do not give out the answers at first. I ask all the questions. After I ask all the questions, I go back, I ask the questions again. I go over all of your answers, and then I tell you the real answer. Bosie has sent me an audio file. I'm going to play that first. So, there's no rhyme or reason to playing the game, to playing the trivia. We're just having some fun. And it gives me a chance to make fun of you and all your bad answers. Let's see. Where is it? Where'd it go? Oh, okay. Here we go. So let's see what Jeff Bosie's got going on.
There was a big guy inside an Exxon somewhere in Long Island. He was about 6'3". He was big, and he said, "Hi, can I get 30 on pump 5?" I found it completely hilarious.
I'll play that one more time. Whoops.
There was a big guy inside an Exxon somewheres in Long Island. He was about 6'3". He was big. And he said, "Hi, can I get 30 on pump 5?" I found it completely hilarious.
Nice to hear Jeff's voice. It's so soothing. Plus, it just made me feel like I had somebody in here talking to me. Oops, what am I doing here?
There was a big guy.
I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. All right, done. All right, so now I understand. That's another reason why I was glad to hear Jeff's voice. Now I understand what the hell he was trying to say. Because that's really not what the comment said. The comment really didn't seem to make sense. OMG, the most hilarious thing. I was in a gas station. There was this 6'3" big guy, but now imagine him with my whiny voice playing Talia. So, all right. So he saw a big guy, giant guy, scary-looking guy, but yet he had a childish, feminine voice. Right. That is funny. That is funny. If for those of you who are older like me and you like baseball, there used to be a baseball player named George Foster. And he was, if you know baseball, in the 70s, the Cincinnati Reds were a big, dominant team. They won some titles and stuff. They were called the Big Red Machine. George Foster was a part of that. He later in the 80s came to the Mets, spent a few years on the Mets. And this guy had one of the meanest faces I've ever seen in my life. This guy he was a great hitter. But man, every time you saw a picture of him, he's just. So one day, I was probably like around 10 years old, maybe a little younger. And one of my uncles, one of my mother's brothers, my Uncle Phil, he was my godfather. And he's only, I think, 15 years older than me. So, when I was a kid, he was, a young adult, but, a kid like himself, so a kid as well. So I hung around a lot with him. We used to, play sports and, joke around the house and stuff. So we were messing around in the house, me, him, and my brother, and I forget what we were doing. We were throwing a ball around, but for whatever reason, we had the sound down on the TV, or not completely down, maybe. It was just low. We had to, back then, this is before cable, so we just had, ABC would have, the game of the week or, whatever you call it on, Saturdays. And it was a pregame, they're talking before the game starts. And sure enough, the reporter, he's about to talk to George Foster. So we stopped what we were doing because all of us were like, every time we saw a picture of him, just this mean. So we stopped what we were doing so we could turn the TV up to hear what he sounded like. I remember Uncle even saying that. Stop, George Foster. And we all like, oh, yeah, George Foster. Like we were all on the same page. Turn the TV up. Reporter asks us a question. And he is the whole time as the reporter's talking. He's just, microphone goes to him. Well, Bob, I'll tell you the truth, Bob. I think that this game of baseball, and we were on the floor. We were dying. We couldn't believe that this is what this guy sounded like. And we never looked at him the same again. We were never afraid of him again. And when he came to the Mets, he had seen his better years when he played for the Mets. So the Met fans pretty much drove him out of town. But, yeah, so that's what that reminded me of. Sounded like a Jerry Lewis voice, says Ken Friedberg. Oh, that's funny. All right, so here we go. We're going to do some Tuesday trivia. Ken Friedberg, you're just in time. We're going to play some Tuesday trivia. No Mike Kaplan, who was supposed to be our guest today. No Vicky on the comment thread to play trivia. No Andy Plajanos to play trivia on the thread. So it's Bosey, Fremder, Rusiello, and now Friedberg. Question number 1. What marked the first time since the Revolution that the U.S. accepted direct financial aid to fight a war? What marked the first time since the Revolution that the U.S. accepted direct financial aid to fight a war? How's that for a question to start you off? Oh, my goodness. Andy Plajanos is here. Wanto Parkway is 13.3 miles long. So what do you think? Does that mean that maybe they just go up and down a few times with it? Well, They ride the bikes a few times up and down Wanto Parkway, I should say. Andy, good to see you. Hope you had a good weekend. You made Jules's month by showing up at her library. Andy Pajanos, he spent some time in Long Beach this weekend. He had 2 weddings to go to this weekend, which is just should be against the law. So that's why he wasn't here on Friday. And then I'm not here this Friday, so I'm going through some withdrawals. Without seeing Andy, I look forward to my Fridays with Andy. And I'm dead serious about that. We really do have a great time. I have just as much fun with Andy off the air because we hang out. We get here like an hour early and we just shoot the shit. I think only once or twice we had sex, so we just shoot the shit. We do the show, have a great time, and then depending on what's going on after the show, sometimes we'll sit here for another hour. While I'm doing other things, we're just talking or, stuff. Sounds like a bad law firm. What, WSP? Okay. All right. So, first question. What marked the first time since the Revolution the U.S. accepted direct financial aid to fight a war? Question number 2. What U.S. state is said to have as many cows as people? Question number 1 was for Mike Kaplan because he's a vet. Twice, actually. The second question, what U.S. state is said to have as many cows as people? That was for Chris Thomas because I was hoping she was going to show up here today. All right. Question number 3. What is Goldie Hawn's real name? Goldie Hawn, famous actress. Kurt Russell's girl. What is her real name? All right, next question. If I can get my pen. Next question. What NFL footballer saw his weight reach a league-leading 340 pounds in 1988? If you're a football fan, this is a super easy question. What NFL footballer saw his weight reach a league-leading 340 pounds in 1988? Next question. In Alaska, this is a multiple choice question. In Alaska, it's legal to shoot bears, but illegal to do what with bears? Yell in their face, wake one up for a photo, or name it. Like name the bear. Give the bear a name. In Alaska, it's legal to shoot bears, but illegal to do what? Yell in its face, wake one up for a photo, or name it. Next question. For those of you who are familiar with terrestrial radio, you got your FM and your AM. What does AM stand for? What does the AM stand for when it comes to AM radio? Next question. What percentage of Instagram users are under the age of 35? What percentage of Instagram users are under the age of 35? This next question was also from Mike Kaplan. Sometimes it's like someone took a knife, baby, edgy and dull, and cut a 6-inch valley through the middle of my skull. What song are those lyrics from? I'll repeat it. Sometimes it's like someone took a knife, baby, edgy and dull, and cut a 6-inch valley through the middle of my skull. It's very violent and dark. What song are those lyrics from? Next question. What is the definition of the word acnestis? ACNESTIS. 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 What is the definition of the word acnestis? Okay. And the final question, ladies and gentlemen, the final question. During sexual intercourse, various parts of your body swell up because of increased blood supply in anticipation of an orgasm. A woman's breast size can be increased by what percent when having sex? You can say it's a multiple choice question because you can just pick any number. During sexual intercourse, various parts of your body swell up because of increased blood supply in anticipation of an orgasm. A woman's breast size can increase by what percentage by having sex? That, ladies and gentlemen, was your final question. I know I'm on delay here, so I'm just I'm letting some more answers flow in before I continue. All right. Let's see, where does the answer start? Okay. All right, here we go. What marked the first time since the revolution that the U.S. accepted direct financial aid to fight a war? John Rusiello says Vietnam War. Andrew Fremder says the Man of War. Andy Plajanos says Gulf with a question mark. It is so nice to have Andy Plajanos back on Tuesdays. Andy Plajanos got it right. The Persian Gulf War is the correct answer. Persian Gulf. What U.S. state is said to have as many cows as people? What U.S. state is said to have as many cows as people? You can say that's a multiple choice, too, because you can just pick a state. Andy Plajanos says Wisconsin. Bosie, New York. Have you seen the overweight issue? Once again, Andy Plajanos has got it right. He is now 2 for 2. He's back, and he's back with a bang. Number 3. What is Goldie Hawn's real name? I knew you guys would have some fun with this. Fremder, wait a minute. The U.S. state with the most cows as people. Are we talking about animals or people? What? Talking about as many cows as people. Oh, I see what he's saying. What is Goldie Hawn's real name? Plajano says it's her name. Jeff Bosie, Goldie Showers. Ladies and gentlemen, Andy Plajanos is 3 for 3. Goldie Hawn's name is Goldie Hawn. What was the name of that where she had to coach that college football team? What was the name of that movie? That was a funny movie. And she looked great in it. What NFL footballer saw his weight reach a league-leading 340 pounds in 1988? Oh, Fremder, her real name is called Stiff Sock Draw. That's probably true. No, Bosie, we're not talking about Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is an MLB player. John Rusiello, Kenny Friedberg, and Andy Plajanos all got it right. The Refrigerator Perry. Oh, from this is John Madden. That's funny. What was his first name? Walter Perry, I think. Oh, William. William the Refrigerator Perry. Andy Plajanos is 4 for 4. How do you like that? All right, next question, multiple choice. In Alaska, it's legal to shoot bears, but illegal to do what? Yell in its face, wake one up for a photo, or name it. John Rusiello says, wake it up. Andy Plagano says, to fook them. I don't see anything else. Oh, Fremder says 69 them. Or is that an answer to a different question? No, I think that's that. All right, Andy Pajanos, I assume you wrote fooked them, but that wasn't one of the options. So I assumed you were joking, but I never saw another answer come in. So does that mean you're not 5 for 5? You're now 4 for 5? I was very disappointed. I was thinking maybe you get 100 today. It is illegal to wake one up for a photo. John Rusiello gets the point. When it comes to AM, FM radio, the old terrestrial radios, what does AM stand for? Bosi, alternative music. Rusiello, anti-meridium. Plagianos, amplitude modulation. Kenny Friedberg says the same thing. Well, you guys would be correct. Nice job. So Ken Friedberg has a few right there, and Andy Bajanos is now 5 for 6. Very impressive. What percentage of Instagram users are under the age of 35? Rusiello says 70. Plagianos says 100. You're on Instagram. Fremder says 35. Friedberg says 20. Oh, my goodness. Bosi says 5%. The percentage of Instagram users under the age of 35 is 90%. That's what it says. I was shocked to see that myself. 90%. Sometimes it's like someone took a knife, baby, edgy and dull, and cut a 6-inch valley through the middle of my skull. What song are we talking about here? What song is that from? Fremder, the song written by the Gilgo Beach Killer. That's funny. Kenny Freeberg says stiletto. I can see why you said that, Ken. That was pretty funny. And Andy Plagianos did not answer that question. He skipped that one too. You skip it, that counts as incorrect in my book. So nobody got that one. Nobody got that one. That song, those lines, like I mentioned, I tried to give you guys a little clue because when Mike Kaplan's been in here, we've said a few times we've talked about his love of Bruce Springsteen music. So this line, and I said to you guys, this is for Mike Kaplan. So it's a Bruce Springsteen tune. I'm on fire. Sometimes it's like someone took a knife, baby, edgy and dull, and cut a 6-inch valley through the middle of my skull. At night I'm waking up with the sheets soaking wet and a freight train running through the middle of my head. I can pay fire. Oh, ho, ho, I'm on fire. Sorry, that was awful. Where are we? What is the definition of the word acnestis? Acnestis. Acnestis. Let's see. Eczema related, says Ken Friedberg. Fremder, another name for leprosy. John Rusiello says no clue. Fremder, not sure, but if you treat them like balloons, I'm sure you can fill them up a bit. Oh, I think that's for the next question. Okay. It means it's the part of the back or the backbone between the shoulder blades and the loins, which an animal cannot reach to scratch. And I think that includes us. Right back here, the area where we get a pen to reach down, or a back scratcher, or when we go to the massage. Okay. So let's see. Oh, Bosa, you had it right too. You also wrote amplitude modulation. I don't see it. Is this one of those things where I'm only seeing half of the answers again? That would make me nuts. That would piss me off. All right. So let me see. How do I double check that? Ah, son of a bitch, it's true. I was only seeing some messages. Son of a bitch. Well, you know what? We still have 10 minutes to this show. Now I'm going to look this. I'm going back to the beginning to see what. Yeah, see, I didn't see him. I didn't see Fremder when I was talking about the reporter. Is a guy touching my ass? That's funny. Let's see. Bosie says, I think he's a douche. Who were you talking about? Who was the douche? Let's see. Instagram. Mike O'Sullivan says, Twitter has porn. It does? Is that true, Mike? Twitter has porn? I didn't know that. Let's see. My new bidet allows me to play Tuesday trivia while I'm still cleaning my ass. All right. So far, the answers I'm seeing, I saw all the answers. Oh, and that's funny. So before, when Plajanos' answer about the Bears was Fook them, I said Fook because it appeared on my thing as PHUKK. But now that I turned it on to all messages, it actually corrected, and the F word is actually spelled out correctly. That's weird. Oh, no, I see. I take that back. He wrote it twice. All right, so Jeff, your amplitude modulation answer is still not here. So you lied to me, you son of a bitch. You just wanted to see me go back and check all the messages again. You just want to mess with me. All right, so the last question, ladies and gentlemen, that I think only Ken Friedberg took the time to answer. During sexual intercourse, various parts of your body swell up because of increased blood supply in anticipation of an orgasm. A woman's breast size can increase by what % by having sex? John Rusiello said no clue. John, I hope you get to do more research on that. Kenny Friedberg said 20%. Fremder, I'm not sure, but if you treat them like balloons, I'm sure you can fill them up a bit. Oh, Bochi said Russell Brand is a douche. Okay. And yeah, now he writes 90% use Instagram. Yeah, I already said that. So, Ken Friedberg, you were close. It's 25%. A woman's breasts can increase by 25% when having sex. Bosie, do you find that your breasts increase 25%? I'll have to look at that the next time I'm having sex. I don't know when that'll be. I'll probably forget by then. Andy Plajanos did not answer that question either. So I think Andy went, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10? Well done, Andy. And that is why we are your number one fans. I should probably just keep it on Andy. So who was I talking to? Somebody said the other day that Andy is handsome. And we've heard that before. We've had discussions on this show about that. About how people have chimed in saying Andy is good looking. Don't mind me messing with this camera. This way. Oh, boy, that's close. Well, we're getting out of here anyway. Hey, don't forget, today at 1 o'clock, Chef Felix, Let's Eat Long Island and Beyond, right here on the YouTube channel. Also on the YouTube channel tonight at 9 o'clock, Hershey and the Keegs. I don't think they have a guest. I don't. If they do, they didn't tell me. Excuse me. And that'll be my last show here for the rest of the week. Unless we do a green room show, I have to talk to Don. I guess it's possible. I could probably do one if need be. But as of now, I'll be here tonight with Hershey and the Keegs, and then I'm out of here. At least this show anyway, Knockem Dead. We won't be on again until Monday. Assuming I don't have jury duty. But as soon as I know, I'll post it. And if the show does go on in here, we will have comedian Sean Kearns in here. Andy, are you familiar with Sean Kearns? Bosie, are you familiar with Sean Kearns? I don't know Sean personally, and I've never seen his act, but I know his parents. I've heard good things about Sean Kearns. I've had some contact with him because we have mutual friends in the comedy world. It's purely coincidental that I know his parents. So I am looking forward to speaking to him. I hope we get to do this show. Either way, I hope to do the show. I don't want to go to jury duty. So, and your friend there, breasts. I'm assuming that's supposed to say breasts. Play a crucial part during sex, especially for blind people. The bump on the nipples are braille that says "suck here." John says, "Have a safe trip." Thank you, John. Yeah, looking forward to my time in Philly. And some time in Philly and some time in New York City. So looking forward to that. Thank you very much. But yeah, it'll be a nice break. But I will miss you guys for the rest of the week. Pork chop and applesauce might be on Hershey and Keegs. Well, isn't that every week? Andy never heard of Sean Kearns. Okay. I think he just did the Giggle Room over the summer. I remember seeing his name somewhere, and I could have sworn I saw his name somewhere. I'll have to ask Keegan. I think it was Keegan that has him on one of his shows or something. So I'll ask those guys tonight. So, yeah, enjoy the rest of your week. All the other shows are still playing. Circling the Drain will be on tomorrow. Primal Scream is on Thursday. Treading Water is not on because I'm not around, but all the other shows. So Felix today. Hershey and the Keys today. Circling the Drain tomorrow. Primal Scream on Thursday. Donversations Friday. Maybe a green room. I got to see what Don's up to. So it's just this show that's gone for the rest of the week. Have a great week, guys. Andy, miss you, pal. Can't wait to see you next week. And assuming I don't have jury duty that day. So wow, that could be. It's possible 3 Fridays without Andy. Nobody should go that long. All right, enjoy your week, guys. And I'll see you tonight with those two guys. Thanks, guys. See you later.
What will you experience at a Knockem Dead comedy murder mystery show? Suspense, excitement, love, more love, violence. Well, not really. And, of course, some music. Knockem Dead Comedy is the #1 murder mystery troupe, entertaining thousands of people for over 20 years.
Have a great night or what? Good.
Their hilarious murder mystery shows are full of audience interaction from beginning to end that will keep you laughing all night long. Their shows are not to be missed. Knockem Dead Comedy's murder mystery themes include a mob show, a redneck wedding, a high school reunion, a family reunion with a luau theme, or your own custom show.
Johnny, you have a good time tonight or what?
Had an awesome time.
All right. You had a great time. KDC, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, all right.